And I would label myself a concerned citizen.
Active participant.
Yeah, and just playing my role and my duty and filling in that gap for where I need to be at, and to be able to help somebody else at that time. And so, in doing that, and through community, and get connected like that, I kind of started getting involved with a lot of community needs. CCAP and city management, building those relationships with people so that we can solve things. And in saying that, a lot of officers and a lot of city people came to me and said, well, Sean, I like the way you came about that because you were very diplomatic.
Right, we needed it, but who's gonna do it? I wouldn't want to be you.
Yeah, and I didn't blame anybody. But those particular incidents, it had some details to it where you could lash out and blame. But what I wanted to work on was solution.
Right.
And even in the blaming processes, I didn't blame the so many other people that I blame myself, because this is the guy that sat in my chair and I couldn't connect. And I didn't connect. I should have connected. So I blame myself, and I felt like I had a duty to give back and work a little harder.
And not let that next young man go down that road.
But the solution was, man, we have thousands of other Kiwans and Keishans out there, and Keishas and
Anisha.
Oh, man, we got so many other people out there that we gotta save. And it's almost like watching a bunch of people line up on the San Francisco bridge, but a piece is missing, and we're watching them jump off the bridge. If you know better, you should do better.
Yeah.
And you should teach other people better.
Yeah.
But
it's a higher level of scrutiny.
The community takes me somewhere else, because what I've learned in this year and a half of rigorous work of dealing with community is so many people get paid off the dysfunctionality.
Oh, definitely.
Of the community.
It's a problem. Incorporated.
Yeah, if I'm a farmer, I want to see a whole lot of crops. So if I'm into, and not sounding real bad even with the funeral, because we're included too.
Sure.
If I'm a barber, I want to see people with bad haircuts and people that need a haircut.
Sure.
And being in the funeral home business, I want to, I want to serve families.
There's an actual.
I want to serve families. I'm in business.
Sure.
But when I'm in business for drug rehab, or I'm in a business for youth, or
you need an addict. If you're on dispensary clinic, you need an addict.
Jails, or if I'm in the business of cemeteries.
Jails, big business.
So I don't get mad at them. I just try not to be a victim.
You try not to be a statistic, like the truth be told, and there's a statistic on everything.
Yeah, and so you try to pray up and stay up.
Right.
Pray up and stay up and try to, and then help somebody else. In the military, we learn, don't leave nobody behind.
Yes, sir.
So, each one teach one. And so as even if they're wounded, so on the battle, notice that life is a battle every day.
Yeah.
So you got to treat it as you're getting on your uniform for battle.
Yes, sir.
But it's a life battle.
It's a marathon, isn't it?
We have $5 gas prices.
Going to 10.
$5 gas prices. And there's very little help out there. They're cutting back on programs. They're not adding programs. And so in saying that, you got to be serious about your life. And like I went into earlier, you can't care more about the game today.
Right.
Than you care about where am I doing? What am I doing with my kids? Where are my kids? Do I have insurance?
Right.
Is there going to be a can running around the table?
It's always tomorrow. You mentioned insurance, and you mentioned just being prepared for the future. And how do you feel? Sometimes people ask me a lot. I know they ask you, what are you doing? You're not serving families at that most desperate time. And a lot of what you do is insurance and preparation that way. And kind of talk a little bit about what the battles we confront as far as the education process, and the fact that if we're a broker and we broker you a product that can enhance the value of you and your family and your legacy, don't really worry about that I may make a commission. How about worry about the value enhancement to your life? Let's kind of get that evened out there. Let's do a calculus problem real quick.
A lot of times when you talk about your life, people start looking at their lives.
Yeah.
So when they see you making some money, they want to think about how they helping you make some money.
Yeah.
So they don't want to really make you no money.
Right.
Because, they ain't getting none.
Yeah, but let's talk about the fact one policy won't make you retire.
One policy. Because when I get my money, I give my money to help the needs of other people.
Right. So that circulates.
So it circulates.
In your community.
I shop at Seaboat every Friday and Saturday.
Right.
You know, and I try to increase the whole shop,
Right.
Seaboat. You know, and because I try to
kind of a free commercial.
You know, I try to circulate that.
Right.
You know? And so when
Urbana Gardens.
but I go to other people. I go to Urbana Gardens. I go to.
You like your guys?
I love Zions. I love those guys. I love the owner over there.
Right.
Yeah, he's a great guy. I've been knowing him for years, and his son.
Local guy.
I love Sam's.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, Sam's a great guy, and Sam will help people.
Right.
You know, nobody's gonna come through his place and be hungry because he's a servant to food.
Yeah.
And so I love guys like that, and I love connecting with guys like that. You know, but I love what we're doing. We're serving families.
Right.
We're not serving families. We're trying to serve a family.
And that's even an extended way of serving a family, to put a financial plan in place. That kind of brings about a discipline and a certain spirit. When you say, as far as, hey, you know, regardless of how bad my month is, I got to invest in myself first. You know, it's more of an attitude, don't you think?
Oh yeah, and you know, Saints, a lot of people that we run into, they say, well, if I die, it's not going to be my problem.
It sure will be.
But once you find out what happened to you, if you die, and nobody has insurance, and you have to go back to the county coroner,
and then you go to Cook County and you go in a big box with 30 bodies,
and then you go to a state
cemetery,
or you go to a phlebotomy school, where now you're a specimen.
And that's only if you're in perfect health.
And so
they don't want you if you got a cataract.
And then at the same time, we as people, as just people, cannot afford to leave that burden and that pressure on a loved one, a brother or a sister, to have to live with the decision that was made.
Right.
You know, so it's an accountability.
It's almost like
it's an accountability piece for each of us to kind of take out, maybe have an insurance policy, and maybe set that plan up, or let somebody know what those final wishes are.
Let me ask you this: do you think that without having a proper last disposition or final disposition in place, and then you kind of give that that power up, if you will, that that could almost even, you know, depending on the disposition, and maybe you don't return spiritually, do you think that that could almost be a curse for your family? Would you go that far, or is that a little?
You're saying like the fact of opposed to cremation,
Say even if you go that far, you know, like a traditional funeral service or versus a cremation, which is historically known to be kind of a pagan tradition, and pagans by definition are really non-Christian. They kind of live and eat for today and let tomorrow take care of itself. Do you lean more towards there will always ultimately be accountability to God? How do you feel about that?
Well, you know, and it's how you take spirituality.
How do you feel about that? I want a straight answer. Let the truth be told. I want it straight.
Spirituality.
Yeah, I want to hear it. We want to hear it. How do you feel about that?
How do I feel about that?
Do you feel like that can curse your family?
I don't know if it's a curse to your family. I don't know if it's going to curse your family. And you got that's
how do you feel?
That's your views.
We want to. That's not my views. We just want to know.
What I would say, what I would go on is the spirituality aspect of it. Is that I want to be buried because of the fact of the spiritual speaking of God coming back and you being raised from the dead and those type of things. That's spiritual and biblical.
Bishop Gwen spoke about that. Wasn't that the book of Jacob?
It's the book of Jacob.
What were his thoughts?
And so, in saying that, he was talking about the people going to the promised land, and he was, and this particular character was saying, hey, if you guys make it be ready to go to the promised land, dig up my bones and take it to the promised land with you. Because even if I'm dead, I want to be in the promised land.
Yeah.
But you can't, you know, I mean, I guess you could take ashes to the promised land too.
Yeah.
But
you can. I mean, speaking of that, you kind of went in on me a little hard. But I want the people to know, let the truth be told, that even in a cremation process, that here at Williams Memorial Services, we do the absolute best, I think, in this area at really revering both spiritually and faithfully, and actually with the physical process of handling a cremation service in a spiritual way. And I don't in any way think that you can't return even in an urn or in a plastic container that we may deliver to your loved one back spiritually.
Yeah, but you know, I think that cremation versus traditional funeral services definitely have a dollar. It's because of the dollar. You know, a lot of people, and sometimes they don't. Sometimes people just want to be cremated.
Yes. So you said a dollar, and we don't talk dollars, we talk service. So that being said, does that mean just buy insurance? Is that what that means?
Buy insurance because
So that you can do what you want to do.
most of the time, people do not have an insurance policy, and then that becomes an option
Right.
to be able to carry on and to be able to go with the,
Almost like going to the grocery store with coupons almost.
yeah,
Huh?
but at the same time, it's one way for closure for families, and to be able to have a funeral service and the ball still rolls. But for me in my house, and that's what I have to go on. I can't
That's your business principles.
I can't really go off of what other people do.
Right.
I can just instruct them and educate them on these are your options. But as for me and my house, we gonna serve the Lord.
Right.
And what the Lord is saying, traditional funerals, and that's what Bishop was teaching and
Yes,
preaching.
sir.
And it's that
And
being-
Pastor Cannon, Pastor Tatum.
and he's been preaching to be prepared.
Right.
Proper preparation.
And what is proper
prevents-
preparation?
Proper preparation
Let the truth be
prevents
told.
poor
What is that?
performance. And every guy off the streets, those of you that was
And we can get them insured too.
but that was some gang terminology and things of that nature. But
What?
even proper preparation prevents poor performance, and that was something that those guys were taught
Right.
in those particular gangs back in. You see it wrote on walls.
Sure.
sometimes.
Graffiti.
But
Mhm.
it was that McDonald's marketing strategy
Right.
to get over and over in your head that you got to prepare.
So what does that mean as far as for last disposition? What does that mean? What does that mean for a family? What does the family have to do to be properly prepared to deal with the inevitable? Let the truth be told.
First sit down with family. First sit down with family.
How about before that at need? Isn't there a pre-need?